Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Destiny and welcome back to the first video in the front-end series for the Django React authentication system. So in this one, we're just going to go ahead and set up our React application. Firstly, we're going to go ahead and install React and install the necessary files that are needed. So if you want to see more videos like this, do make sure to drop a like on this one. Consider subscribing as it will really mean the world to me. And also you can download the templates for free from the link in the description below. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you're following along with the documentation that I provided over here, then from the section 2, which is creating the clients using React, then you'd see that for the step 1, we have firstly, make sure that Node.js is installed. So if for any reason you don't have Node.js, then I've provided the link here. When you click on this, all you need to do is just open up the nodejs.org link, this one over here, and you could go ahead and download Node.js for your system. And while installing, make sure to set it to path variable or to path environment if you're on a Windows machine. Okay, and after that, that should be pretty much all you need to do. And we need to go ahead and create a new app on our application, okay, or on our system. So we're going to call the app frontend. And in order to create a React app, you simply want to use npm create React app frontend. So you can as well just copy this, and I'm going to come over to my command prompt. You can open up your command prompt. So we have a folder called JWT authentication. You can as well cd into that folder and run this, or you could just run this on your desktop. Then after the application gets created, you can then copy the front end folder and push it into the JWT authentication folder. Don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how we do this. So you open up your command prompt. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing in here. And the first thing that you want to do is I'm going to go to my desktop over here. Okay. And just like I told you guys, we have a folder called JWT authentication. This one over here. Okay, I think we missed something. So we have a folder called JWT authentication, this one over here. Now, if you're in that folder, then you can run npm create React app. Then you could call this one front end. Okay, so that's why I want to call mine. I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter on my keyboard. Then this would go ahead and install React on our front end folder that we just created. So actually it says npm is not okay. Yeah, that's because we need to use npx create React app. So while creating a React app, it's supposed to be npx and not npm, and we're going to call this front end. Just hit enter on your keyboard and give this some time. You should go ahead and successfully install React. And after it installs React, you should see happy hacking. Okay. So another way that we can actually do this is I'm gonna break this off. I'm just gonna cancel this. Yes, terminate. And let's open up this JWT folder with Visual Studio Code. So I opened this up with Visual Studio Code, and let's just give this some time. As you can see, it's opened up. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see everything that I'm doing actually. So you can go ahead and open up the terminal from over here. If we come over to terminal, you can open up a new terminal, and as you can see, we have our terminal showing over here. All you need to do is run npx create React app, create React app, then we're going to call it front end. Okay, so just like I said, it's up to you wherever you want to do it. For me, I'm just going to do it inside my Visual Studio Code so you guys understand everything that's going on, and I'm going to hit enter in my keyboard. So yeah, we'll give this some time. It would go ahead and create the React app. If you give it some time, you can see that it will start actually reading some file and creating the applications that we need. So it takes about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how fast your internet connection and your PC is. Then everything is going to run fine. As you can see, it started creating all this already. So just give this some time, and when it's done, you'll see some like happy hacking and all that. And after it's done, we're going to get back to the video and continue with the tutorial. So as you can see, it's successfully installed React, and we can see the happy hacking console logged or printed here on the terminal. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, if you open up the front end folder, that you can see that we have all the files that we're going to be needing to actually go ahead and work with React. Yeah, I think that's all we need for now. So here in the terminal, I'm going to go ahead and clear this out once again. Then we need to go ahead and install all the packages that we're going to be needing. So firstly, I want you to hit npm I, so that is npm install. Then we're going to be installing Axios. We're also going to be installing day.js to help us keep track of days and dates. For example, let's say we want to let's say we just want to go ahead and make a token to get expired after every, I don't know, let's say 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Yeah, we're going to be using that. And we also need the JWT dash decode. So we're going to be using JWT dash decode to, pretty much decode the tokens that we got, the refresh token, the access token, and in all tokens there are actually user information stored in them, just like I've showed you in the previous videos. So that we're going to be using the JWT decode to actually decode those tokens and grab their information. And also we need the React router DOM. Okay, so React router DOM, we're going to be needing this pretty much for doing anything that has to do with routing, and that's pretty much it. Don't worry, I'm going to explain how all this works in detail when we get started. So just go ahead and hit enter on your keyboard, and this should go ahead and install all this application. Then if you open up the package JSON, then you're going to see it in here. Okay, so while that's downloading, I'm going to go ahead and start explaining a couple of things. So if you take a close look at the Node.js, then you're gonna see that we have the node modules over here. So I don't want you to tamper with the node module or mess around with it. You don't need to do anything there. That's where all the applications that we're going to be needing gets installed in. And we also have the public folder. That's where our index HTML, CSS file, JavaScript files are going to be sitting. I mean the external files that's going to help us run our application. And also we've got a source over here. That's where we're going to be performing most of the things that we need to do. And yeah, I think that should be it. So I'm gonna close this up. I don't know, why do we have like two node modules over here? Something seems to be wrong. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna leave it, since when we go ahead and commit to Git, we're not gonna need this. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it. So okay, seems, yeah, I think this is the problem. As you can see over here, we have this one and we also have this one down here. So what I can do is just go ahead and remove this. So you see this node modules, this one and this one. I'm going to go ahead and delete all those other ones. Okay, it's going to take some time to actually delete, because we've got a lot of files in there. So what we need to do now is go ahead and start writing some codes. Now we need to go ahead and create a new folder in the source folder, this one over here, and we're going to call this new folder, we could call it whatever you want, but I could just go ahead and name it, let's say context. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder just like this, and I'm going to call it context in here. Okay, so I want you to follow along with everything that's going on. Now in this new folder, in it, I'm going to create a new folder that's called auth context, just like this, auth context.js. Okay, so that's it, auth context.js. Now inside this auth context.js, we need to go ahead and start working with pretty much all the authentication functionalities that we're going to be needing. Do not mind all this over here. Do not mind all this. We're going to fix it later. So if you've created the context, you've created the auth context, and before we even go ahead and get started, let's just run npm start, okay, to see if everything actually works as expected. So you run npm start. Now this should go ahead and spin up our development server, and if everything actually works well, then we should see this on our site. As you can see, start in the development server, and this is going to open it up on our site or on your browser, your default browser. Then you should see something like React is up and running, something like that. Let's just give it some seconds. Shouldn't be up to a minute before it goes ahead and shows up here. There you go, that's it. So as you can see, React is loading up perfectly well and fine in here, and that's pretty much what we need to do.